I would like to begin this video by wishing all mothers today happy Mother's Day. Fellas, if your mother is still with you on this side of glory, you all spend some time with her today and let her know how much you care and love her. All right, moving forward. The only thing certain, Fever Nation, about yesterday's outcome is, in terms of speaking toward the season, the only thing that is certain is the Fever will not be going undefeated. So that's good news, Fever. That's good news. We can move forward now. For those who are prepared to move forward and not living in the past, this video is for you. Now, waiver. I am not a Wings fan. I have not become a Wings fan. I am only using this video to point out, one, how coaching matters. Okay? How coaching matters. The Wings hired a former college coach at University of South Florida, Jose Fernandez. And what he has done with, in my opinion, one particular player on that team may have changed the fate of the Wings season. May have changed the fate of the Wings season. What are you talking about? I'm glad you asked. So now, Arike Ogunbowale. If anyone has ever watched her game since she's been in the W, it's been wild and loose. She is a streak shooter. She will put the ball up from anywhere on the floor with efficiency some games. And she is a nightmare to guard when she is hitting that shot. Remember the Team USA versus the WNBA All-Stars in Caitlin's rookie season? Do you all remember that game? I may have to go and play some highlights to remind you. But Arike went off. I think she hit 36 points. She was that game's MVP. She hit 36 points. She was going nuts. Caitlin was going to sub in for her. She was sitting at the table to sub in for Arike during that game. And Arike started hitting the wildest shots you could ever imagine. And Caitlin went back to the bench and she said, nah, I want to sit and watch this. I'm not going to take her out the game. But with that thought in mind, Jose Fernandez has galvanized this team around sharing the ball. Now, a lot of y'all gonna say, well, there you go with that low-key Caitlin Clark scenario. That low-key. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? I know I'm not caping for ESPN and that nonsense they was peddling, talking about the team is better without Caitlin Clark. That's a bunch of foolishness. And let me put a button on that. What other player in the W are they saying that about? None. They're only saying this about the Fever. You will never hear them make a comment in the terms of, is Napheesa Collier in the Lynx? Is the Lynx better without Napheesa Collier? Are the Aces better without Asia Wilson? Because the ball pops more when she's not in the game. You'll never hear that nonsense and foolishness. But back to Jose. Jose has changed Arike's game, at least for now, in this first game of the season. Now it could all crater and she could go back to being herself, which is putting the ball up because she can, not because the offensive scheme calls for it. And that's what I saw yesterday. Arike was taking good shots yesterday, moving the ball around, something she had never done in her career before. Because when I first saw this matchup, I was thinking, well, Paige Beckers will not be getting the shots she normally gets because Arike is going to be shooting the ball more when she comes back. She's going to demand the ball and demand her number of shots that she gets during the game. And when I saw Arike playing under control, I knew the Fever were in a different type of game. And I said to myself, okay, this may take a little bit more effort to get the job done than it would in times past. Because when Arike is Arike, and I mean when I say that, just becoming a streak shooter, putting the ball up from anywhere on the floor, going one-on-one, crossover dribble, and letting it rip, That was Arike Ogunbowale before yesterday's game. So Jose hasn't had an impact on this young lady's game, which means coaching matters. Coaching matters, Fever Nation. Now, I'm not lobbying for anybody to do anything with White. I'm just saying Dallas Wings made a change. And look at how that change has impacted, in my opinion. I don't think Paige Beckers is the best player on that team, although that's what the media wants to tell you. Arike Ogunbowale is the best player on that team. Make no mistake about it. I don't care what ESPN says and all of these hyenas say on ESPN. Arike Ogunbowale is the best player on the Dallas Wings team. A bonus clip for Fever fans. Now, if you watched my video yesterday where I talked about the Fever's secret weapon can save the season, it was Justine Pissott. Now, the question is, because you know that this is the W, only in the W are they doing kind of crazy things with these deals for players. The W is more concerned about the feelings of these women that are on the roster. They're more concerned about their feelings. They're not doing what's best for the organization. The W is about orientation over organization. They're more concerned about the feelings of these players. Like, take for instance, 2 players on this roster may be questionable. I'm going to put it like that. 2 players on this roster may be questionable. One of them should not have been signed because she was injured. Why is this important, Fever Nation? Because in order for Justine Pissott to play, these factors are going to happen. So I asked ChatGPT yesterday, can a developmental player be brought to the active roster? And the answer was yes. A developmental player, let's read together, can be promoted to a standard WNBA roster spot when a team decides to convert that contract into a active roster contract. Under the new CBA structure, the process generally works like this. The team must have an open standard roster spot or waive trade another player to create one. The team then signs the developmental player to 1, a standard rookie contract, the second bullet, veteran minimum contract, or another standard deal permitted under the salary cap. Let's continue. Number 3, once converted, but first bullet, the player counts fully against the salary cap. Second bullet, becomes eligible for all regular season games. Third, receives full roster benefits and protections. Now that's the part right there, Fever Nation, where this is I'm sure I hope they got this from the NBA, but it seemed, remember last year, what was it, Bree Jones? They couldn't get rid of her, and we all know that the young lady was not doing anything the entire season. Matter of fact, she rode the bench for over 80-90% of the season. She only became impactful during the playoffs. Now you can say, well, that's when you probably wanted her most, but she hadn't played all season. Back to the W. Now, the 4th bullet point, leaving off on protections, and is no longer limited by the developmental game restrictions. Teams are expected to use developmental contracts for injured player depth, young draft picks, international stash players, and prospects they want to keep in their system without immediately committing a full cap hit. Now, we just know they just got some money. So some players are taking the max and not leaving a penny. But this is why the Liberty are able to stack the deck like they have in New York, because players are kind of going Tom Brady, I'm not saying it's unselfish or it's selfish to take all of the money you deserve, but some players are being unselfish. They know they can make their money in other ways, especially with the market in New York. And that's what they've done, and that's what they're selling to these star players. Hey, if you back off a little bit, we can get better help and more depth on the team. Pay close attention to this, Fever Nation and WNBA. Though this is only in the W. Only in the W. Now, I'm sure they may want to reword this after this video. Let's continue. For example, and this is in regards to the developmental player restrictions that they have when they're on the developmental contract. Let's continue. For example, if a rookie impresses in practice or during limited game appearance, a team could convert her to the active 12-player roster later in the season, especially if injuries occur or another player is waived. The system was designed, now here's where it gets kind of spicy. The system was designed partly because WNBA teams historically had to cut talented rookies simply due to tight roster limits and cap constraints. Now, they may need to change that word talented, okay? Because why are you cutting a talented rookie? Only in the W. Only in the W. And finally, Fever Nation, under the new WNBA CBA structure, a team could waive a standard roster player to open a roster spot, create cap flexibility, or promote a developmental player to a full standard contract. This will likely become more common because teams now have first bullet, developmental spots. Second, expanded roster flexibility. And third, an increased emphasis on long-term player development. For example, a team carrying a struggling veteran on a non-guaranteed deal could waive that player and elevate a developmental player who is outperforming expectations. Now, Fever, whether it's a non-guaranteed deal or a guaranteed deal for a struggling veteran on their roster, we know from last year the Fever really has no enforceable policy the way they let DeWanna, this catch and release philosophy the front office has with the Fever. We didn't get nothing for that. Was she waived? Was she let go? I mean, it was nothing we got from that deal. So to sit back for the front office to take the high moral ground and talk about cap hit and all this nonsense and foolishness, well, y'all gave money away last year. You literally gave money away that you did not recover in any shape or form. So to sit back and say there are some issues, there could be some issues making Justine Pissott a full active roster spot on the 12-player roster is ridiculous. That's all I have for you right now, Fever Nation. Again, to our mothers out there, happy Mother's Day, fellas. You do what you got to do. If she's on this side of glory, you all have a blessed day. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm out.